Hello, everyone. Welcome to the World Tapping Circle. I'm your host, Sonya Sophia, and I am so glad to be here with you. This is a really exciting session we're going to do, learning how to command our consciousness and hold a field of alignment around our body coming from our core essence so that the world as we know it can line up around that and manifest what it is that we are in alignment with. That's kind of an abstract concept, but we're going to actually do it. I'm going to break it down for you, make it really, really easy so that you can learn to manifest whatever it is that you're desiring. And you can use this video again and again to keep creating. So this is going to be really useful for you. If you're here live with us, say hello in the chat, whether you're in the World Tapping Circle private group or you're on Facebook live with us. Say hello, let us know where you're logging in from so that we can get a scope of who's here and what part of the world you're coming from. It's super exciting for us to see people from all over the planet joining us to hold their own vibrational frequencies. So I'm going to check into the chat here, and I'm seeing Christina in Asheville, Josie in South Dakota, Anna in Toronto, Vicky in Poplar Bluff, Josie in Seattle. Let's see, who else? I see someone joining us from Canada. All these beautiful people chiming in. Sheila in California, Elaine in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Heather in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, Maria Q calling in from Los Angeles, Sammy in San Francisco, Richard in Spokane, Washington, Kalita in Oregon, Jane in Kansas, Trinity in Nevada City, Sky in Austin, Elizabeth in Raleigh, MC, Jorge in San Antonio, Tara in Chicago, Riva says, I'm thrilled to be here. Gregory, who's often here, says, wonderful again from Eureka. Irma in Boston, hello, 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 everybody. I wish I had time to greet you all personally. So today's tapping theme is commanding consciousness. So think about what it is you want to bring into your reality. Something that would make your life a little bit better or a lot better. It could be anything. This could be a tangible thing like a new computer or a new place to live or a new job. This could be a more intangible thing like an upgrade in your relationship or a new relationship or better health. You decide. This is going to be your moment to come into alignment. Okay, but before we begin, I'm going to explain the creation process to you. So you know that it has something to do with positive thoughts. You know that it has something to do with affirmations. But what you might not remember is that first you have to honor all the cancellation notices inside yourself where you're actually not in agreement with what you want to bring in. So you've probably heard me use this analogy before, but if someone came to you and took your order at a restaurant and you kept telling them that you didn't trust them, that you didn't think they had the ingredients, that they were probably going to mess it up, that it was probably going to cost too much, that you probably were going to get sick, that they didn't know what they were doing, that order would never go through. So all of these subconscious fears and beliefs that you've been conditioned with, sometimes since birth, sometimes just through the modeling of your family system, where they say, hey, go for it, but don't do better than we did. Or, who are you to? This is who we are, and if you move beyond this sector, you lose your identity with us. You lose your community, you lose your family if you dare to go beyond, okay? Or you can't do it because you are a woman, or because you are a man, or because you are this size or this color or this shape or this sexual orientation. There's all these ideas that we have about who can and who can't, who will and who won't. And it's bogus. The people who can are the people who believe they can. And that can be you if you're willing to dismantle all of these limiting thoughts, these fears, and these feelings. So, having said that, we are about to go into the section of this tapping time called the Core Causes Questions. That's a 5-minute survey for you to survey yourself to see what it is that is contributing to you not feeling as wonderful as you want to feel. In this case, not having what you want to have happening in your life. So in the Core Causes survey, it's going to say this issue at the beginning. What is your issue? So your issue is actually going to be a creation statement like bringing in my new lover, or bringing in my next best job opportunity, or bringing in the next level of my health. And then the limiting thoughts and feelings will be the things that you, when you ask yourself, pop up into your head. It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if you're just guessing. The thing with tapping is as we tap on the meridians of the body and stimulate the electrical system, if you've missed something and it's not right, nothing's going to happen. But if you have some truth in that statement, your body's going to start to off-gas stored stress from the nervous system and discharge the limiting belief biologically from the cellular memory in your neural network in your head, pulling synapses apart and helping you rewire and reconfigure your gray matter and your cellular memory and the genetic memory, which sounds like a lot. It's all scientifically based, and this is what we get to do for the next little while. So think about what you want to manifest, how you want to command your consciousness into existence, and we're going to pop into the online Core Causes Questions. We will screen share it, zoom the image big if you're on Facebook so that you can read it if you're not live with us in the World Tapping Circle back end here. And we'll see you guys in 5 minutes. All right, everyone. Hopefully that was enlightening. And now we're going to actually start the physical process of tapping. But before we do, I'm going to give you a quick explanation because I know there's a lot of new people on with us right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our fingers and gently, percussively tap on the meridian points, stimulating the flow of electricity in the circuits of the body while bringing up the files in our minds with this old data and this old information in it. And we're simply going to place empathy and acceptance for now and compassion into that file. And the file will actually clear itself once it meets love, forgiveness, acceptance, something like that. And then the body is going to let it gurgle out. Sometimes that's yawning, burping, laughing, crying, tingles of electricity, weird little pains that roll through the body, and it's going to correct itself. And then we're simply going to reformat it by giving it a few positive instructions that you're going to get to create yourself, and I'll give you some guidelines. You're going to tap on you, I'm going to tap on me, and together we're going to command consciousness. You guys ready? Let's go. Giving yourself a deep breath. Finding your collarbones, dropping down from the collarbones to the front of the chest, 4 to 6 inches, feeling around in the upper pectoral region for a sore spot, giving it a light massage. Big deep breath. Repeating after me, filling in the blanks with your own information. Even though there's a part of me that really wants to bring, and then say what you want to bring into your life. Tap the eyebrows. And yet, I struggle with this. Tap the temples. I struggle because part of me is afraid. Tapping the cheeks and breathe. So tuning in to the list of what ifs and yeah buts that come up when you say you want to bring this into your life. Tapping under the nose. Yeah, but what's the first thing that comes up for you? Is it worthiness? Is it confidence, just believing in yourself? Big deep breath. Tapping under your lips. Tapping down to the front of the chest. Part of me is afraid. And then say why you're afraid as you breathe. Tapping under the breasts down to the front of the ribs. Big deep breath. Part of me is afraid that, what's your biggest fear about actually having this happen? Are you afraid it's going to take too long? Or that you're unworthy? Or that you're going to mess it up? Tapping the side of the ribs. I'm open to loving and accepting myself even with this fear exactly as it is. Big deep breath. And tapping the top of the head, the sides of the head, and the back of the head. This fear, and name that fear again. This fear of what? And breathe. Tapping the eyebrows. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the temples even with this fear. And say the name of that fear again. For example, I'm gonna mess it up. Tapping the front of the cheeks. And breathing. Tapping under the nose. Part of me believes. And then say what this limiting belief is. What is it that you believe might happen? Tapping under the lips. I'm open to loving and releasing myself from this idea. Tapping down to the front of the chest. Good job. tapping down to the front of the ribs. Even though this belief has been holding me back from this and so many other things, tap the side of the ribs. It's safe for me to release it now. Big deep breath. Tap the inside of the wrist. Where did you pick up this idea? Maybe you learned it from your mother. Maybe you learned it from your dad, or from the way you were raised, or the way you were trained at school. Tapping the side of the thumb. I picked up this thought from where? Go ahead and say it out loud if you can remember. Tap the index finger. Part of me wants to hold on to this in order to protect myself from what? So for example, if you're afraid of messing it up once you have it, what are you protecting yourself from? Is it being laughed at? Feeling ashamed or disappointed? And breathe. Tapping the middle finger. A part of me wants to hold on to this old belief and say this negative limited belief one more time. In an effort to protect myself from what? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I don't want to be disappointed. Tap the little finger. I really don't want to be let down. Tap the side of the hand. I don't want to be disappointed. Tapping the top of the head. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the back of the head and the side of the head. Tapping the eyebrows. Even though. Tapping the temples. A part of me would rather not manifest this. Tapping the cheeks. Just in case. And then say what your concern is. And tapping under the nose. And breathe. And tapping under the lips. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the chest. Even if I learned to think and feel this way from my family, from my culture. Tapping the front of the ribs. I give myself permission to release this idea and the energy that comes with it. Big deep breath. And tapping the side of the ribs. I'm allowing myself to release the subconscious stress about creating, and then say what it is that you want to create. Tapping the inside of the wrist. So tuning into this stress that we've been talking about. Maybe it's still there, maybe it's lessening. If it's still there, keep working on that one piece. If that piece doesn't really feel like a big deal anymore, let's work on the next piece. Tap the side of the thumb. What else are you afraid of in regards to manifesting this and bringing it directly into your life? Tapping the index finger. Even though I'm afraid of the responsibility and work involved in taking care of this. Tap the middle finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. Part of me fears this responsibility. And if you're not afraid of the responsibility, say what you are afraid of. Tap the little finger. This fear of And breathe, tapping the side of the hand. I give myself permission to notice what I'm afraid of here. Tap the top of the head. Let's break it down. So if it is responsibility in work, what is it that bothers you? Is it you're already too busy? Is it that you don't know how to do it and that amount of work in learning feels overwhelming? Tapping the side of the head and the back of the skull. Tapping the eyebrows and the temples. I allow myself to release this anxiety, this part of me that shuts down. Tap the cheeks when I imagine, and then say what it is you're imagining. Maybe it's being overwhelmed. Maybe it's being not smart enough. Tapping under the nose, tuning into that fear. Say it out loud. Part of me is worried that what? Tapping under the lips. Part of me is worried. Say it one more time. Tapping the chest and breathing. I love and accept myself. Tapping the front of the ribs. I give myself permission to gently and thoroughly release and unwind all of the things keeping me from having this come true. Tapping the side of the ribs, including, and then say what's there for you that concerns you or worries you about coming into alignment with this creation. And breathe. Tapping the inside of the wrist. I give myself permission to release the fear that came from where? Came from my mother. Check and see if her beliefs, her subconscious fears, informed you about what was possible for you. Tap the side of the thumb. My mother's fear tells me what? What does your mother's fear tell you? And maybe your mom didn't have any fear, in which case you could say my father's fear. Or maybe you were raised by a stepmother or a grandparent or a foster parent. Tap the index finger. Tap the middle finger. This fear, big deep breath. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the little finger. I'm giving myself the possibility of releasing my mother's fear. Tap the side of the hand. In any way it's held me back from bringing this into my life. Tap the top of the head. Say out loud again what you think your mother's fear would be saying to you about this. Maybe she says, you're not good enough. Maybe she says, you're too this or not enough of that. Tap the eyebrows. I'm open to releasing this conditioning. Tap the temples. Even if it's been stopping me my whole life. Tap the front of the cheeks. Big noisy breath. Tapping under the nose. Even though a part of me was conditioned by my father's fear. So let's tune into that. What does your father's fears say about you having this? Maybe he says, you're not capable, or you're not responsible enough. Big deep breath. Maybe he says you're not smart enough. Tap the front of the ribs. Even though it's possible my dad's attitudes are informing me about what's possible for me right now. Tap the side of the ribs and breathe. Just tuning in, thinking again. What would your dad's limiting fears or feelings or attitudes be that might be influencing your confidence, your ability to focus, your ability to accept this into your life? Tapping the inside of the wrist. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the side of the thumb. Releasing this idea or this attitude I picked up from my father. Tapping the index finger. I love and respect myself. Tap the middle finger. I forgive myself for holding on to these same thoughts, ideas, and fears that my father handed me. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger, including what? Say it out loud. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger and breathing. Tapping the little finger. I love and respect myself. Tapping the side of the hand. I allow myself to process these feelings and thoughts that were never mine. Tapping the top of the head. Say them out loud. What is it that you inherited from your father that may be holding back your ability to command this into your life? And breathe. Tapping the eyebrows. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the front of the cheeks. Releasing this inherited idea. Tapping under the nose. That my father picked up from his environment. Tapping under the lips. I allow myself to succeed. Tapping the chest. Even with this idea I picked up from Dad that says, and then say it out loud. Maybe he said it would be too hard. Tap the front of the ribs. Big noisy breath. So it's coming back to what we are creating. Tuning into it again. Say it out loud. I am creating. And see how it feels now. Tap the side of the ribs. Say it again. I am creating. And say what it is you're bringing yourself into your life. Tap the inside of the wrist. And notice if there's any more fear or what if or yeah but. Maybe you have a huge long list. Tap the side of the thumb. Let's pick another one. What's another thing that worries you or freaks you out or overwhelms you about having this in your life and letting it stay, taking care of it, letting yourself enjoy it? Tap the index finger and breathe. Tapping the middle finger. I love and respect myself. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. Even if part of me imagines. And what is it that you're imagining? Maybe you think you're not good enough. That somebody else should do this. Or somebody else would be better at it. Or somebody else is more worthy. Tap the little finger and breathe. Tapping the side of the hand. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the top of the head. Even if a part of me believes, and then say what that is for you. Tapping the eyebrows. tapping the temples. Even if I've believed this my whole life, ask yourself, how long have I been thinking this? Tapping the front of the cheeks. I love and respect myself. Tapping under the nose. I give myself the possibility, tapping under the lips, of releasing this idea, tapping the chest, that I picked up. Ask yourself, where did I get this idea? Did I get it from the media? Did I get it from school, from friends, from a sibling, from a family member? Who taught me to shut down, to hold back? That somehow I wasn't good enough? Tapping the front of the ribs. I love and respect myself. Tapping the side of the ribs. You can say, I'm open to loving and respecting myself, even if I wrapped my identity around this idea. Tap the inside of the wrist and breathe. Let's do the opposite wrist this time. This part of me that believes that, and then say this limiting belief, this fear that you inherited, that has something to do with why it feels hard or scary for you to have this thing that you want to bring into your life. Tap the side of the thumb and breathe. I can hold on to this for the rest of my life if I want to. Tap the index finger and just give yourself permission to take it to your grave. Tap your middle finger. I can hold on to this the rest of my life if I want to, and you can't make me let it go. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger, make some sound. Tap the little finger. I love and respect myself. Tapping the side of the hand, even if I've been holding on to this idea that I wrapped my identity around. Tapping the top of the head. It's okay for me to upgrade my thoughts and my confidence. Tapping the eyebrows. I deserve, tap the temples, to have this in my life. Tap the cheeks. Even if I've never had it before. Tapping under the nose. And I don't fully know what it would be like yet. Tapping under the lips. Or maybe I had it before and I messed it up and I lost it and I still feel the pain of that. Tapping the chest. I'm open to learning and growing beyond this experience. Let's say that again. Tapping the bottom of the ribs. I'm open to learning and growing beyond that experience. Tapping the side of the ribs. I'm allowing myself to love and trust myself. Tapping the inside of the wrist, giving myself permission to grow beyond the things I was taught to be afraid of. Tap the side of the thumb. Big deep breath. Tapping the index finger. So let's do some what ifs. What if I waste a bunch of time on this and nothing happens? Tap the middle finger. What if, and then say the what ifs that are the scariest for you. What if I make a fool of myself? Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. What if I get my heart broken? Tap the little finger. What if someone takes it away from me? Or they're jealous? Tap the side of the hand. Just tuning into your list of what ifs. I want you to take a full minute and say what they are as you tap the top of your head. what if? Sides of the head, back of the head, eyebrows, what if? Tapping the temples, big noisy breath. Tapping the front of the cheeks. I love and accept myself, even if all those things happen. Okay, let's say all those things happen. Then what would happen? Then I would be humiliated. Tap the chest. Then I would be ultimately embarrassed. Then I would have felt really sad. Tap the front of the ribs. Breathe. We're just going to pre-process all that stress. Tap the side of the ribs. Just accepting that all of those things might happen. Okay, they might. Tap the inside of the wrist. I love and respect myself. Tap the side of the thumb. I give myself the possibility of releasing this fear, this anxiety. Tap the middle finger, this part of me that gives up. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I allow myself to release any fear or trauma about having, and then say the thing that you want to bring into your life. And breathe. Tap the little finger. This remaining fear or trauma about having, and then say again the thing you want to bring into your life. Tap the side of the hand. Now tune into your body. As you say this remaining fear or trauma about having, and then say what that is, where do you feel that remaining fear, stress, or trauma in your physical body? Maybe you feel a clenching in your stomach, a tightness in your throat or jaw or your neck, your shoulders. Tapping the top of the head. I give myself permission to process this energy stuck in my, and then say where that is. And let yourself feel it as you tap and breathe. Just accepting for now that energy in your body. Tapping the temples. This remaining energy in my, and then say where it is. Tapping the front of the cheeks. I allow myself, tapping under the nose, to come into alignment. Tapping under the lips. To naturally and easily come into alignment with this, and then say what it is that you're creating, with this new place to live, with this, say what it is for you. Tapping the chest. I'm allowing this to be easier than I thought. Tapping the front of the ribs. I'm allowing this to be way more fun than I imagined. And tapping the side of the ribs. I give myself the possibility. Tap the inside of the wrist. Of enjoying this creation. Tap the side of the thumb. So let's talk about what you would do with this. What are all the good things that having this would allow you to do? Maybe it would allow you to save money and do something great with it. Maybe it would allow you to have better health. Maybe it would allow you to have more free time. Maybe it would allow you to serve more people. Tap the middle finger. I allow myself to imagine the pleasure and the new possibility of, tap the bottom of the fourth finger and say it loud and proud, of doing what? Having what? Being what? Tap the little finger. I'm allowing myself to feel safer and safer. Imagining having this and enjoying it. Tap the side of the hand. It's possible that I'm smart enough to learn how to take care of it. Tapping the top of the head. It's possible that I can learn what I need to learn. That the support is there as soon as I look for it and ask. Tapping the eyebrows. Tapping the temple. It's possible that this is part of my growth. Tap the cheeks. To follow this impulse. Tapping under the nose. To trust myself. Tapping under the lips. And to trust creation. So tapping the chest. So just listening for a second, I want to tell you something else about the creation process. So part of it is what we've just been doing, is dismantling fear and giving ourselves permission to feel safe, holding this in our lives, enjoying it and using it. But really, to make this creation go, other than dismantling the fear and imagining it being safe and enjoyable and useful, we also want to surrender the pressure and the attachment around it, which means that we sort of give it to the matrix, we give it to the divine. We say, okay, I've cleaned out my aversion, I've cleaned out my compulsion, meaning I have to have it, and now I'm sitting here in this neutral place, allowing and resting and open without feeling anxious, without feeling any pressure. Either way, okay? So let's work on that a little bit, tapping down to the front of the ribs. I allow myself to release the need for this to happen. That sounds kind of weird, right? But whatever anxiety you have about it not happening is your need for it to happen. Like, it has to happen. I have to have this. Tap the side of the ribs. So just tuning into that part of you. It feels like if this doesn't happen, you're going to freak out. Or if this doesn't happen, you're going to be a failure. If this doesn't happen, your parents will never be proud of you. Or that you won't be proud of yourself. Tapping the inside of the wrist. This pressure. Big deep breath. Tapping the side of the thumb. All this pressure. Tapping the index finger. I love and respect myself, even with this pressure, to have and then say what you want to have. Tap the middle finger. I love and respect myself. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. It's safe to release this pressure now. This pressure I've put on myself. This pressure the world or my family or school has put on me. Tap the little finger. Big deep breath. Tapping the side of the hand. Releasing this remaining pressure to have or be or to look a certain way. Tap the top of the head. And breathe, tuning into that pressure one more time. See if you can still feel where it's coming from. Tapping the back of the head and the side of the head. And tapping the eyebrows. Who are you trying to impress? Whose validation are you looking for? I love and respect myself. Tapping under the nose. Even if I never get validation from them, from God, from life, from my mother, from my boyfriend, from my father, from my sister. Tap the chest. I give myself permission to relax, to receive, to stay true to this vision inside me. Tap the front of the ribs. So tuning in to the thing that you want to bring in. Say your creation again. I'm creating. Tapping the side of the ribs. See how it feels now to say it. Tap the inside of the wrist. Releasing the need for anyone else's approval or validation. Tapping the side of the thumb. Allowing myself to imagine safely, easily, and joyously handling, and then say what it is that you want to handle. Big deep breath. I give myself the possibility of enjoying. Tap the index finger and say what it is that you're creating. Tapping the middle finger. Tapping the bottom of the fourth finger. I love and respect myself. I'm releasing any remaining stress about this. And tapping the little finger. It's safe for me to do this. Tap the side of the hand. It's time for me to do this. Tapping the top of the head. Allowing myself to relax, to receive, to feel safe. Tapping the eyebrows and breathe. Allowing myself to feel worthy. Tapping the cheeks. Let's imagine one more time that you do get to have this. Big deep breath. Under the nose. Imagining that you do get to have this beautiful experience in your life. What is it like? How would you be sitting or standing right now if you were able to have this experience in your life? Tapping the chest. I would, and then say what that would be like for you. Let your body feel it. Run that energy of enjoyment and pleasure and strength and accomplishment through your body until it feels normal. Tapping the inside of the wrist. I'm allowing myself to experience this as normal. Beautiful. Tap the side of your thumb. I'm normalizing this experience for myself. Of being able to, and then say again what it is that you're able to have, feel, be, or do. Good job. So I want you to tap all over your body and tell yourself some positive statements. I want you to bring this into your own words now, using your own name. For example, I would say, Sonya, I love you. I trust you. I'm excited for you to have this experience. This is going to be so fun and beautiful. So what are you going to say to yourself? Tapping the front of the ribs. I'm allowing myself to believe this. Tap the inside of the top of the head. Tap the inside of the top of your head. I give myself permission to feel the truth in this. Say it again. Say your own name. If you were your future self, what would you tell your present time self now that's still imagining this possibility? I would say, don't give up. It turns out better than you think it will. Keep processing any insecurities. You've got this. Tapping under the lips. You've got help. Tap the chest. And then here's a little piece of advice. Asking your future self for this little piece of advice that's going to help make all the difference. Listen for that message. There you go. So write that message down. Put it somewhere that you can see it every day. This last little piece of advice that kind of sums up this whole experience for you. As you've been learning how to command your consciousness through using EFT tapping. I'm curious to know how you feel now. Please put it in the chat. During the core causes questions, I asked you to rate the intensity of the negative feelings, the limitation around this. How far away did this dream feel to you? And where does it feel now? So maybe it was a 10. It was like, it feels impossible. Maybe it's down to a 5, a 6, a 2. Maybe it feels really possible and you're getting next steps already. Write those next steps down. For some of you, you're going to process at a different rate than others. Maybe you need to spend 4 or 5 more hours working on this, but if you had to spend 10 more hours to achieve this, would it be worth it? I bet you it would be. There's a way for you to have as much tapping time as you want or need, very inexpensively, which is to join the World Tapping Circle. If you're not already here live with us, if you're just watching on Facebook, jump in, commit for 1 month. It's under $20 and say, okay, for a month, multiple times a week, maybe 3 times a week, I'm going to do 1 hour on this subject. I'm going to put 10 or 15 hours into manifesting this. I guarantee you it might only take another hour or 2. But if you were dead set saying, okay, I am going to bring in whatever it is, your divine partner, a new car, your best opportunity at taking your work to the next level, and you do the belief shifting work, and you get your body into alignment, and you rest in that and release that, the universe will say, here you go. This is normal for you. On to the next level. So that's how we command our consciousness and bring things into existence. So I'm going to take a peek into the chat. And then I'm going to let you know about a couple of cool things that are coming up in case you want to get better at tapping. Of course, one is joining the Tapping Circle, which you'll find the link in the Facebook page, worldtappingcircle.com/unify. Because Unify is partnering with us in this particular broadcast, so we want to give them credit for sending you. And in a minute, I'll tell you about how to become a certified EFT practitioner. But first, I want to see what's going on in the comments here. Elena said, I had a 10 at the beginning. Internet problem, will watch replay. Let's see. Gregory says, this session helped me think up an idea. I typed it into my word processor before the idea flew away. Great. Some people saw my cat pop up here. Angela says, a 10 to a 2. My future self said that it will be resolved and to keep going. Sky says, I'm finding myself moving from a 10 down to a 2, realizing I need to tap more on the stories that I've held on to based off the limiting beliefs my dad has about me and who I am as a human. Tammy says, I went from a 10 down to a 3. Reva says, a 10 down to a 5. I wish it was a 1. I'll tap on this again. But Reva, you took it down 50%. That means you are 50% closer to having this manifest for you than you were an hour ago. That's awesome. Christy says, I feel lighter, 8 to a 1. My message is that it will all happen in space. Give myself space. Elaine says, down from a 4 or a 5, from a 9, much calmer inside. I feel more confident. Shoda says, I came in late and didn't do a number, but now it feels possible and I can see what's holding me back. The whole world wants you to do this, and how happy my parents would be if they could see me flourish and create and lead, they would. Great. Dorothy says, severe pain in my upper arm. Pain went down to an 8 and then up to a 10 again. So Dorothy, there's something happening in your body that's connected to this. So jump into the tapping circle. Do a little bit more tapping on the feeling in your arm and see if you can come up with how it's connected to this manifestation, because there's something there for you. Robert says, it was a 10, now down to a 3. Jorge say, was at a 10, now down to a 3. The kitten brought me down to a 2. Learning to tap into my crown from the top of my head brought me down to a 0. Beautiful. Well, I'm glad my cat helped. She's definitely intent on being a part of this tonight. I'm feeling incredible and content, says Jen, sitting outside feeling hopeful and confident. Joy says, a 10 to a 5. Your cat knew when to show up to help with fear. Seeing your cat made me feel relieved and joyful and laughed. It released a lot of fear. More magic mood. Mood-changing cat. Wise, and they know. Yes, she knows. And Pamela says, I feel joy, peace, and a feeling and a knowing that this is part of my purpose. My body feels light and relaxed. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your beautiful light and love. I'm going to read a couple more comments, and then I'll read the rest to myself while I play you a gorgeous song. Josie says, a 10 down to a 5 today. It's been a long time since I released this much in one session. Thank you. So much burping and yawning and hiccuping at once. Thank you. You are wonderful. All right, sweet beings, I'm going to read the rest of these little love messages, and I'm going to remind you I'm doing one more EFT practitioner training this year. It's in Austin, Texas. It's more than halfway full. If you want to come, please check out this link, trainwithsonya.us, and it's Sonya with a Y, trainwithsonya.us. I would love to be your teacher. I would love to teach you how to do what I do so you can do it in your own unique way to help yourself and to help the people in your life get out of hell and make their dreams come true and help shift this world in a new and beautiful direction from the inside out. So thank you to Unify for partnering with us. Thank you to Facebook for allowing us to stream. Thank you to the World Tapping Circle members for showing up for themselves and each other and this world every single week. I hope very much to see you in the circle next time. And until then, I leave you with this song by Mary Isis called Song of Creation.